Thank you for joining us. Happy Monday. Ronnie, you got me loud and clear?
Yes, sir. I'm with you. You hear me?
Yes, sir. Got it.
Let's
We'll
go.
go
This
ahead
is
and
a lethal duo.
yes, sir. We'll go ahead and get started, guys. Thank y'all for joining. I appreciate everyone for being here. First thing I want to get into, I'm gonna get into a couple announcements, give a couple thoughts, and then get out of the way, let Ronnie take it from there and share what they've done to scale this year. Ronnie, you guys this year went from less than $1 million a month in January to almost $5 million last month, correct?
So 1.4 million is where we finished December. We're now sitting at 5 and cracking on 6 million's door this month.
Five and cracking on 6 million. So that's obviously a massive amount of growth. Now, for everyone, for perspective, Ronnie's team's grown tremendously. The entire company has grown tremendously. I pulled the numbers right before this call. In August of 2024, we did 42 million in life with 5,389 writers. August 2025, we did 58 million with 6,438 writers. So we're up 14 million. I'm sorry, 16 million over where we were last year this time, just for the month, not for the year. For the month, we're up 16 million. So and over 1,000 writers up. So the company's had a tremendous amount of growth. Ronnie's group has had a tremendous amount of growth. I think there's a lot of reasons behind that. We have a lot of momentum. What I wanted to start with is, a couple of the biggest things that can lead and you can use as leverage points to help your team grow a lot are big events like Ignite, like Sean's leadership training. And the Ignite event is one of those things where I think as you learn to build a team and to scale a team, and I learned this with Ronnie, like I was like this with Sean, Ronnie was like this with me, but a lot of the leaders you have, if you just tell them to do things, but you don't explain the why behind doing things, then they're not going to be as likely to do them, right? So I think early on when we start to build a team, we just go, "Hey, Ronnie, get your agents to Ignite," right? And he might go, "Okay, but why?" And if I don't take the time to explain it to him, he won't do it. And I remember that there was a time about a year and a half ago, Ronnie and I were having a conversation. I'm like, "Hey, I'm taking a bunch of people to Sean's house to do a leadership meeting with them. You and your guys should go." And he was like, "Why would we need to go down to Sean's house for a leadership meeting at first?" And instead of me just like trying to push him to do it, I went, "Hey, these are the three or four things I learned that helped me scale my business to that next level when I brought my team down to Sean's house. Your group is the next group that's gonna grow like crazy, and these are the things that he can teach your team that he can speak to your team better about than you can speak to your own team about, right?" So instead of just trying to jam it down his throat, I took the step back to explain why we're doing it, right? And I think everyone on this call who wants to build a team, you should be taking the opportunity today. By Wednesday, you should have everyone you could possibly have in West Palm Beach. And the reason that we do the Ignite event is not so Ronnie or Sean or Andrew or Grady or myself can get up on stage and talk. It's so that we can get 3,000 people in a room and we can get the best 50 or 60 people at FFL who sell the most, recruit the most, build the best, build the most profitable agencies to train 3,000 people for one day so that you all don't have to train all your agents all day long, right? And it's a big leverage point where we can build both momentum, we can build belief in people, we can build people up and teach them that, hey, if Ronnie can do it, if Zach can do it, if Andrew can do it, if Grady can do it, if all these other people can figure out how to do this, you can do it too. But it's a big leverage point where we can build people up. And that's the entire point of these events, is not so that the people on stage can get a bunch of recognition. It's so the people on stage can help you as leaders train your whole team in a very efficient way, right? So I think you should be thinking about the event that way, and you should be having that conversation with your managers. Go, "Hey, we need to get everyone to this event so that we can have all of our 268 agents that we have on our team that issue business every single month to get trained for one day so that Ronnie and Grady and Andrew and everyone else can train all these agents so that you don't have to do it all day long." And it's a massive leverage point. Now, one thing I want to point out, and then I'll turn it over to Ronnie and let him take it and be here to bounce stuff off of, is a really great example I heard the other day at a meeting that I know Grady's on here, at a meeting Grady and I were at, is I think most people have probably heard the example of the penny doubling. Like, would you rather take a penny that doubles every single day or take $3 million today, right? And I think most people know, based on the way you phrase the question, that the answer is you would rather take the penny that doubles every single day, because why would I ask that question otherwise, right? But I think the interesting thing is if you look at it and you go, okay, if a penny doubled every single day, how much money do you think that you'd have by day 20? And a lot of people will get, I'd love to, someone throw a couple of answers in the chat, like what you think you'd have by day 20. And the reason I'm asking this question is I think it's the best example I've heard to explain our business, because for me, the first year, 2, 3 years in the business, we went from just me selling, Has anyone, no one's participating today? We can't get one person that will put a guess in the chat. If you have a penny that doubles every single day, how much money do you think you'd have by day 20? I know Grady's on here. There we go. We got a couple now. Okay, cool. We got some
There we go.
life. We got some life. We had to get some people to ask ChatGPT because we can't think on our own nowadays. But um the answer is $5,000. Okay. I saw someone put $5,000 in there. Now, the crazy thing is if you let it keep rolling by day 30, you have $10,737,000 in there, right? So day one, you have 1 penny. Day 5, you have 16 cents. By day 20, you have $5,300. And then by day 30, you have $10,737,000, right? And I think what a lot of people do in this business is they work really hard for the first day, for the first 5 days, for the first 15 days, for the first 20 days in the business, right? In this example, you're 6 months, 9 months, a year in the business, and people just quit. They stop doing the blocking and tackling. They stop doing the 30, 40, 50, 60K every single month, recruiting 10 people a week. They don't do it for long enough, and they get right to the $5,000 in this example, and they stop, and they don't keep pushing forward, and they don't keep promoting events. They don't keep recruiting. They don't keep doing the things that got you there. And you're right around that corner where you're about to blow up, but we stop right there, And I've seen that in my own business. The first 3, 4, 5 years in the business, we couldn't crack $1 million. And then we went from $1 million to $19 million over the next 2 years after that, or next 3 years after that.
Oh,
Where FFL, check this out. If anyone wants to have their mind blown, 2014, the entire company did $12 million. Okay. After 6 years of being in business, the company did $100 million. Okay. 2025, we're on track to do almost $800 million in life production. That's this. That's hitting this. That's FL's getting to the $10 million in that example. So what I would urge everyone and caution against is when you feel like you've been doing the right activity for a long time and you're doing the blocking and tackling, you're doing the small things every single day. Most people quit right before they get to reap the reward of it. You need to keep doing the small things, the day in, day out, working the 12, 15, 16, 18-hour days, doing all the difficult monogamous tasks that will get you to that next level. But don't quit right when you're about to hit the pop. And Ronnie's going to go through all the things that are the monogamous things I'm talking about, the beat your head against the wall, the day in, day out grind of this business. But I encourage everyone to remember, like, this business is the magic penny that doubles every single day. And you don't want to throw that penny out right before it hits that trajectory where you start going from 5 million to 10 million to 20 million to 40 million. Because most people quit right before they get to see the reward of that. So Ronnie, with that, I'll turn over to you. I appreciate you. You've been an amazing leader for our group, for the company, and we appreciate everything you do. Guys, take notes, and Ronnie will go through the details of some of the stuff I'm talking about. You have to do every single day to be able to scale your business from 0 2 years ago to $1.4 million in December to going on $6 million this month. So take some notes, Ronnie. I'll be here if you need anything from me, but appreciate you getting on, bro.
hey, let's go. Let's turn it up a notch, guys. We're moving into Q4. This is the most important time of the year, and this is where the real killers come out. The savages are born in Q4, and today we're gonna give you guys a masterclass in what the top 1% do in this last quarter. But first and most importantly, I wanted to shout out Zach, Grady, Andrew, Sean, all of the amazing leaders that we have in this company, because I'd be lying to sit here in front of you guys and tell you guys anything that I'm about to tell you today was from me figuring it out or having to go look it up or chat GPT it, like Zach said earlier. So everything I've learned has been through the guys in front of me, and you guys need to utilize what company you guys are with. The name is Family First Life. It is literally functioning like a family. Little bit less than 3 years ago, I didn't know shit about insurance. Now I'm standing in front of you guys today, leading a $6 million a month team in industry record time. So shout out to all of those amazing leaders we have. But just like Zach said, guys, we have the biggest conference of the entire year coming up this week. You need to make a final push. You need to do whatever you need to do to get as many of your team members out there, because this is where it all starts. This is where it happens. If there's somebody on your team that's putting in the work that can't get there, you need to step out, put an extra hand down, do your best to help get them out there. Because everybody at the end of the day that came into this business, I've yet to find somebody in this business that has come into the business that is wealthy or rich. Like, the common denominator that I found through all of the people that I met that came into this business were either in school and didn't know what the heck they wanted to do, or didn't go to college, or came into the business broke. Like, that's the common denominator, that you don't have to be special in this business, but you need to get to the right events, and you need to get to these events and get the right information from the right people. When I came into the business, I didn't know anything. I came in with a $20,000 Discover debt bill that I need to figure out how to pay while my business was going under the water. I didn't have anything special, but I had somebody that believed in me. And that's what all of these agents need. They need somebody that can believe in them. And that's what these conferences do. They help you get to the next level here. I had my first breakout month when I left my first convention. It was the first event that I ever went to. I left that event on fire. I wrote 81,000 that month and started scaling a team and led it to 1.4 million the first year as an agency. But it started at that event. Had I not got there, I'd be lying to tell you guys I would have got the same result. I would have been stuck in the same place that I was at. So get to these events, do whatever you have to do at any cost. I've paid for people's flight tickets. I paid for the guys that are coming in, that are staying in my B&B. Whatever you have to do as a leader, go above and beyond to make sure that you're those guys that want to be there and can't get there have the opportunity to get there. But today's call is going to be going over leadership and scaling and what I call breaking the system. And I labeled that as the moon. It's going to come down to three things. Number one is going to be lead. Number two is going to be duplicate. And number three is going to be scale. So the biggest thing that I want you guys to think of is, I always had this mindset when I came into business. I said, what are these guys doing that's not allowing them to get to the next level? And I made sure I did the exact opposite. I didn't want to know what was working. I wanted to find out what people were doing that wasn't allowing them to grow, so I avoided. Because that's all it is. You have to avoid costly mistakes in this business by not doing them. So I was a very big learner of what not to do. What is this guy doing that he's not growing, so I don't do that? And each thing that you miss out while you're scaling to the moon in this business has a repercussion to it. I'm going to break them down for you guys real quick. So if you don't lead your team, this is going to be the penalty of it. You're going to get stuck at a 300 to 500K a month team. That is the repercussion of not leading. So if you think that you're going to come in here and put up 15, 20K a month and then build a team of badasses, it's not going to happen. You will get stuck at 300, 500K a month. So I've never seen anybody come into this business and be able to replicate this model where they just recruit and collect overrides. It doesn't work like that. You have to lead from the front. And if you do have that mindset, you might get lucky and make it to 300, 500K a month. Now, if you don't duplicate and know how to duplicate your leadership, the repercussion of that is you'll get to 1 million a month, but good luck getting to anything after that. That's what it comes down to. If you don't duplicate and have other strong leaders in your business, you will not get past that 1 million a month level. And that's what I saw. That's the only thing I did. The only thing I did to scale to 5 million a month damn near this last month was scale, duplicate, and lead. If you can do all those three things and put them into one recipe, that's all it takes to scale this thing to the moon. Now, I have a couple of notes for you guys ready, but I have a few things I want to mention in between. So I want to share the story. When it comes to breaking the system, this last quarter and quarter two of 2024, I experienced a nightmare that I don't wish on my worst enemy. I remember if I would have left to go on vacation for 3 days in my business, it would have been an absolute shit show. It's like the office would have been like Wolf of Wall Street. Like everybody's all over the place, people fighting, people don't know what to do. And I remember Zac told me something at that beginning of the quarter and I ignored it. And he sat back and watched me get punished for 90 days straight. And it was almost to a point where I got mad at him and I didn't want to talk to him anymore. I was like, dude, you knew I should have done it. Like, why didn't you push me harder? You're like, dude, I told you. And it was not getting staff early enough. Until I got staffed and started running my operation like a Fortune 500 company is when I broke the system. Now I'm sitting in front of you guys at $5 million a month team. And only thing on my list today is to just show up. There's two things on my list today. One of them is for tomorrow. Imagine at $300,000 a month for 3 months straight when I got stuck at that level, it was a nightmare. I used to fall asleep on the couch every single day with my laptop in front of me. I used to not even be able to go home and look at my family for 10 seconds without my mind being distracted or being somewhere else. Why? Because I had to learn a lesson. I didn't listen to my mentor, and there was a price to pay. So the biggest thing that scaling and leading comes down to is everybody in here is obviously linked to somebody that's special, somebody that's great in the company, and there's great people outside of them. The biggest thing is believing in your mentor. So whenever I have my guys, I'm like, hey, bro, do you trust me? Like, do you trust that I'm gonna do right by you and lead you the right way? The answer is always yes. So if I tell you something, man, just trust me, believe me. That's what it comes down to. In this business, if your mentor is telling you to do something, you have to do it because last year when I wasn't listening to getting staff, or I didn't think my team was big enough at 300,000 a month to get staff or do whatever, I got stuck there for 3 months straight. It went from 300 to 390 to 320 literally for 3 months straight, and then the fourth month I finally got staff. We cracked 450, and then when I finally started running my operation like a Fortune 500 company, we went from 640 at the end of Q3 to 1.4 million that year. With one simple stuff, it was getting staff. So the biggest thing is like if you want to run an operation, you can't do it by yourself. And that's what it comes down to in the beginning is like you have to have that help and you have to know when to pivot. And Zach, if you want to hit on that real
Yeah.
quick, I know it was a big part of my growth specifically last year.
Yeah, I remember one thing we talked about, Ron, and I think a lot of people do this. They go, hey, once I get to this volume, then I'll get this staff, right? Or hey, once I get to $1 million a month, I'll start acting like someone who runs $1 million a month team. And the reality is it's actually completely backwards. Like for Ronnie, it was like, hey, for you to get to 500,000, 750 and a million, you have to have the staff to be able to support a team that does 500,000, 750 and a million, right? For you to get to a team that for you to have a team that does 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 million a month, you have to act like someone who has a team that does 2, 3, 4, 5, $6 million a month. I think a lot of people do the opposite. Like once I get here, then I'll do this. It's like, no, in
Mhm.
order for you to get there, you have to do this step, right? And I remember talking to and we talked a few times about it, and then I let him do his own thing for a little while. Because when you're leading people, sometimes if you have strong leaders that have their own opinions, you have to let them try something. And if you don't think it's gonna work, no matter how much you try to convince them of the otherwise, they're going to do whatever they want to do anyway. So I had to let Ronnie go down that path and fail. And like you said, be falling asleep at your desk at 2 a.m. every single night and be constantly reacting to stuff. But you have to figure out what makes sense to someone and how you can relate to them. So I remember asking him one time, because it was even just like a really silly example. I'm like, what are you doing right now? He's like, I'm washing my car. I'm like, okay, why are you washing your car right now? It costs $250 to have someone wash your car for you, right? Like, yeah, I'm like, okay, so wouldn't you rather spend 3 hours hanging out with your kids, with your three beautiful kids and your wife, or spend 1 hour making a sale and 2 hours hanging out with your kids and beautiful wife and still make $750? And he's like, that makes sense, right? And my goal was just to get him to start thinking about money the right way, which is like, yeah, you could spend 2.5, 3 hours washing your car, or you could pay someone else to do it and enjoy time with your family or make more money or both. And then start applying that to other parts of the business. Like, hey, remember when we talked about the car washing thing? What about contracting? Do you have to be on there every single time, walking agents through signing up for their exam, getting scheduled with the test, getting fingerprints, doing this, this, and this? Or could you pay someone else to do that? And while they're doing that, spending 15 hours a week doing that for the agents you're bringing on, how many more people could you recruit? How many more applications could you sell? And how much in the green would you be revenue wise if you weren't spending time doing this stuff that you could pay anyone else to do? And I think when you start getting your agents and managers to understand the arbitrage of, oh, okay, if I can make it that if my time is truly worth $2,000 an hour and I'm doing a task that I could pay someone $20 an hour to do, I'm losing out on $1,800 an hour, right? And getting people to understand and think like real business people, getting Ronnie to think like a Fortune 500 business has allowed him to go, okay, I can delegate all these things. And to your point, I can show up and do the things that actually generate revenue for my business, which are selling insurance, recruiting people, and training people. Outside of that, nothing else generates any revenue for your business. So you shouldn't be doing it. And that's once that clicked, then Ronnie's like, oh, okay, I can do everything I need to do. And then I can still be home at 5 o'clock and spend time with my kids. I can still do date night once a week or once a month with my wife. I can still do all the things I want to do in my personal life because I've delegated all the things that waste time and don't require me to do them. But that takes the understanding that you have to give up some control. And a lot of us are type A control freaks. We want to have all the control. You have to give some of that away and understand that getting something done is better than having it done perfectly, right? Like
Mhm.
that was the biggest phrase I heard in business that made sense to me is done is better than perfect. If I can get something done today, oops, my headphones died, Ronnie.
You got me?
No, you're gonna be here.
If you get something done right now, it's better than getting it done perfectly 3 weeks from now, right? So just
Mhm.
take action, get things done with speed. And as the phrase goes, money loves speed. So the faster you can get stuff done, the more things you can delegate, the more time you can spend on things that actually generate revenue for your business, the faster your business will scale.
100%, guys. In that sub 1 million level, you guys are going to experience two levels while you guys are scaling. That $300,000 a month level, 90% of the people get stuck there because of battle test. That battle test there, I don't want to say I almost quit, but I almost thought about it twice. And randomly one day when I was like, what the hell did I just sign up for? Like, I went from working from 11 a.m. to 10 o'clock. Now I work 24 hours a day. Like, this is not what I signed up for. I was working a lot. Like, now I'm working double, but it was because of the battle test. I wasn't thought out. I didn't have backup. I wasn't utilizing staff. I wasn't doing that. So that battle test at sub 1 million is you have to be ready to go through the trenches. You have to be ready to go through the deepest of waters, and you do that by learning through your mistakes. You have to learn through mistakes. Like I see my guys now make them when I tell them something and they don't listen. I see the repercussion it has on them, but I don't step in and grab them the same second. I want them to fall a little bit so now they trust when I tell them something. I'm telling it because I know what I'm saying, and I need you to trust me. That's what it comes down to. But you need to learn through mistakes. But if you guys want to hear the one thing that helped my mindset shift from making a 6-figure income to multiple 7 figures in less than 24 months, drop some ones emojis in the chat, because this thought process is what creates multimillionaires. When I switch my mindset to this, holy cow, like I started like it's like I felt like Iron Man when I developed this thought process, because most people are stuck at how much is this going to cost me? Now the way I look at everything, how much would it cost me if I did it or had to make that phone call? If you want to switch your mindset and get to the next level, it all starts here. Ask yourself before you pick anything up, before you pick up the phone call, before you do whatever, is how much is that going to cost me if I do it? That's how protective and jealous of my time I am now. So I want to talk about staffing before we move on to the next part. But a lot of people, I always get this question in my DMs. It's like, hey, when should I hire my first admin? So if you're selling right now and you want to get to the next level, even if you're selling 20, 30K and you want to sell 40, 50K, you're not going to do it by being alone. That's what it comes down to. So I got my first admin when I was netting about 12 to 15K a month in the business. And that consisted of a dialer. It consisted of an admin that was doing recruiting DMs, managing my book of business. Think about it. If you know how to close, shouldn't you only be on the phone when you're closing? Shouldn't be listening to voicemails. You shouldn't be listening to America's customer service. Like, you should only be closing. That's a minimum wage activity. That's how it was explained to me. I'm not here to do minimum wage activities. I can hire or outsource it overseas. I can have someone here, whatever the case is. There's a ton of great companies. You can connect with me after if you need any advice on that. Your second admin is when you start onboarding. So this is what's called the now person. When you get to a certain level in your business, you need somebody that can do something now. It would be a disservice if any of the 7 or 8 sub agencies that are under the playbook only had to depend on my admin every day. It would be a disservice to my leaders to train them and bring them up to function that way. Because guess what? If I call my executive admin, Liz, and say I need something done now, she'll do it. But if my guy, coach, or Al calls her, it's going to go somewhere on her list depending on how important it is. So when you get to that 200K a month level team, you need to hire your first admin for onboarding. And this is where everybody gets blindsided. Like, I hear these stories of, oh, like this guy just got rolled up 30K in debt. I'm like, how? You know how that happens? When you don't manage your business and treat it like a business. Drop some ones in the chat here if you guys want to see how much that I've been rolled up, scaling to 5 million a month. This is gonna blow your all's minds. I literally have it right here on my phone. It's in one of the tabs. Less than $20,000 scaling to a $5 million a month team. Why? Because I manage my business and I treat it like a business. Guess who gets a debt report every Monday? You get one email. If it's not corrected, you get as earned. So pick which option you want. And that's how it is. But the people that don't manage their business and don't treat it like a business, do you really expect for it to treat you like a business in return? Of course not. That's when you run into those problems. So whenever you're aware and you're managing your business, it's going to treat you and pay you back like a business as well. But it all starts with us. If you're making careless decisions by not monitoring that, like if somebody comes into my team and writes 40K a month, like we audit his book of business. We call the clients. That's how serious we are about that. Because that's special. It's only happened a few times, but it's also a red flag. So you need to think of that, because most leaders are like, oh, this guy's a stud. He just wrote 40, 50K a month his first month. Like, bro, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but like that's like really, really hard to do your first month into the industry. So you should be safe and out of the business. And what's the worst that's going to happen? Your clients tell you he did an excellent job on the phone. But you need to have those precautions. Like our admins know if that happens, you call the entire book of business that he sold and ask a few questions. How was your service? How was Zach with you on the phone today? Whatever the case is, you know. But you have to do that to keep yourself on the safe side, because this is a business. At the end of the day, there is repercussions for the people that don't treat it like one. Now, these are strong options, right? So in order to get to the next level and recruit, think of recruiting like this, right? If you're sending out recruiting DMs every day, but your profile is not built out, they go hand in hand. If you send out 50 DMs but only have one photo on your page, nobody's going to reply. So they go hand in hand. On top of having that recruiting DM, social media is the gold mine of the century. It's a tool that never sleeps. You need to utilize it to its full aspect. So on top of sending out your 50 recruiting DMs a day, you need to have somebody that's shooting your content. Build out your team page. Highlight those guys. You guys want to hear how many times I put my income on my social media? Somebody drop some guesses in the chat. 0. Go find my income anywhere on my page. I don't flex my income. If you do, you're a selfish leader and probably not too many people want to follow you. But I do flex the guys that are getting results on my team. That's because, think about it like this, guys. If you're a leader, why would anybody want to follow you? They want to be led by you. If there's no results showing that you're leading people and getting them results, why would they want you to lead them? Now, hey, if you are 19 and like some of the guys on my team that make 100K a month, like, heck, all power to you, bro. Put your income every month. That's super impressive. But for me, that's not my way of leading. You know, God placed me on earth to lead. It's not to show off. It's not to show off my income. So I like to show other people's results. Hey, you might like to post your income. That's on you. Just make sure you're doing a mix of both. I'm not saying that it's wrong to post your income. For my personal preference, I don't. But if you do, make sure that you're posting your guys. Show their income as well on top of yours. Like I would literally have a 20-80% split of my income and 80% of theirs, because that's what people want to follow at the end of the day. Now, if you look at it now, like even Zach can touch on this, like outside of just having staff ourselves, like Zach, how many staff members do you have?
I have just me personally has 5. Our agency probably has 100, 120, a lot.
So that's a superpower, right? That's how you get to the next level, because people think that, hey, Zach has 5, right? But you're not just competing with this 5. There's 100 right under.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine that's where the superpower in this business is, leading the troops in office and staff. Like, put it this way, right? Zach got an office. Who got an office after? The rest of the guys got an office. I got an office. I got staff. Now all of my team has staff. So that's how it is. The way that they built this business was genius. Because if Zach was dealing with all 100 of these staff members, like he'd probably be like freaking psycho right now from how much, you know, he would have going on his head. But like that's a superpower of this business, is that everybody manages their organization. But you need to be able to lead first, because hey, when I got my office first, then the rest of these guys got their office. Dante got their office. Drew got his office. Tanner got his office. Pedro got his office. But I had to get an office first to show them how important it was to the business to be able to have somewhere where you have a setting where you can fly people into, and you know how important it is for the business to have a home ground in general, and that exact same thing with the staff. Now, I think a lot of people leave this simple step out, and I think it's believing in others and solving problems. And I know that's something that me and Zach have to do a ton. Most of our schedules is like solving problems or dealing with this or that, but that's a part of leadership. You can't avoid it. I remember this one. I ran into a guy at a conference, and he's like, "Hey, man, I want to make more money. I want to scale my team." I was like, "Hey, solve more problems." And he's like, "I don't like solving problems." I was like, "Bro, you just told me you want to make more money." I was like, "You have to solve more problems." So talk about that, Zach. Like they're just believing in others and solving problems when they do deal with that stuff in their business.
Yeah. And I think to preface that, I think that solving the problems of the right people is the right way to do it, right? So what I mean by that is a lot of people get bogged down by trying to work with everyone on their team. Like if you're at 150,000 a month, you probably have 2 or 3 people on your team that sell over 15K a month, and then you probably have like 12 to 15 people who sell less than 10,000 a month. And what everyone tries to do is they try to solve the problems that Ronnie was talking about of the bottom 12 people, which is the wrong way to do it. Like your only advice to people who sell less than $10,000 a month is are you working enough hours? Are you making the right amount of dials? And then do you have the right amount of leads? And if you can't figure out how with the right amount of dials, right amount of leads to sell over $10,000 a month, like you should not be in this business. Like if people cannot get there on their own, they should quit the insurance business because if they're working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, making the right amount of dials and have leads and they have some form of training, like if they can't figure it out, they shouldn't be in business. So your job then is to figure out how to work with the top people on your team. How do you work with the top 5, 10, 15, 20% of your team to be able to get them to that next level, to get the people that are doing 15, 20, 30,000 to 40, 50, 60, and then get the people that are doing 40, 50, 60 to start recruiting and being able to duplicate yourself like Ronnie was talking about. And I have a really good illustration of this. So I look at our numbers all the time. I'm incredibly focused on like what our leaderboards look like, what the trends look like. And so last month, our top 50 agents, number 50 was at 51,000 for the month. Okay. So our 50th agent was at 51,000 for the month. Our top 50 agents cumulatively made up 4.124 million in production. Okay. So that's a lot of production in 50 agents. Now, the crazy thing is we did 17 million and some change last month. So those 50 agents made up 25% of the production. Now, that 25% of the production came from less than 2% of the total agents that issued a piece of business last month. So what I think, and the reason I'm giving you these numbers outside of me just being a nerd and it sounding interesting to me, which probably I bored everyone else on this call to death, but the reason I wanted to share that with everyone is I want you to think about when you're talking and working with your team, where are you getting the best ROI in your team and who deserves your time, effort, and energy to be spent with them, right? And what most people do is they try to, and I heard this great saying a while back, which was, it's easier to run with 100 people than it is to walk with than it is to carry 2 people. And a lot of us are trying to drag people and make people do things that they don't want to do. And your job is to run with the runners and walk with the walkers. And so if you have people that are giving you 100% effort, give them 100% effort back. And you should be spending 90 to 95% of your time with your top 5, 10, 15% of people, pouring your time, effort, energy, and resources into them, helping them learn how to scale a business, helping them learn how to delegate tasks, helping them go from someone who's selling 30K a month to 60K a month. And like Ronnie said, spending an hour with that person, helping them solve their problems and figure out what they're doing wrong to help them get to that next level. This last year, a big change I made in business was I started really focusing on our top 10%. And every single month we do it. I have my staff print out a list of our top 100 agents, and I reach our top 100 agents and managers, reach out to them, ask them to fly into Austin, meet with them, go through the business with them, do a podcast with them. And my job is just to try to figure out any problems they have, any roadblocks that they've run into, and figure out where I can provide any tiny piece of value to help them get to that next level. And since we've been doing that, amongst a lot of other things that have happened in our business that have been amazing, that I believe that's one of the things that has led to the explosion we've had, because I've focused and spent 3, 4, 5, 6 hours out of a Monday spending time with all these agents. Now, a lot of people are like, hey, isn't that a waste of time? I'm like, no, it's not, because I can spend 5 hours with people that are top 50 writers and get them to be someone who builds a team that does 2, 3, 4, 500 grand a month. and I build a relationship with them and solve their problems, rather than just having one call for 5 or 10 or 15 minutes with that person once or twice a week. You build real relationships with the right people, and then the people that aren't doing the right activity, your main goal is just to get them to do the right activity, and then you can build relationships, spend time with, and solve their problems once they're doing the requisite activity to earn your time, effort, energy, and resources. Does that make sense, Ronnie?
Yeah, and that's huge, guys. Like, you have to know your top guys like the back of your hand. I can tell you how they grew up, what their parents are like, how many siblings they have, why they are the way that they are, why they're hesitant, I can tell you all of that. Well, you need to find that out as leaders. And just like Zac said, everybody makes this mistake. They're seeking validation from an entire group. They're seeking permission. You know how many agents were active now, Zac?
On your team,
Yeah.
you had what, 300 agents that sold a policy last month?
387 closing on 500. You know how many I seek permission from?
Maybe the top 10, 15.
5 people.
Yeah.
Because those are the people that really matter. They're the ones moving the needle.
Yep.
And I need their input. That's how I've gotten to where I'm at, by using their input, using our brains, putting our brains together. So I have to seek permission from the guys that are moving the needle. So that's how you build something special. None of it is stuff that I come up by myself. It's by being a big echo, which I'm going to wrap it up with. But guys, you're going to deal with problems as we begin to close this out. I want to leave you guys with this. You're going to deal with problems in business, but this is a trend that I found, right? If you know how to solve your problems, you can come in here and make anywhere from 200 to 300K net a month. Now, here's the trick, right? If you know how to solve your agent's problems, you're gonna scale to that $1 million, $1 million a year level. But here's the best thing. This is why I wake up every day. And I used to like, oh man, like I hope there's no storm today. Like I hope there's not that many problems. Now I fall asleep. I'm like, God, put all the problems on my plate tomorrow. Give me all of them. Put them all on my plate tomorrow. Give me all of them. I'll handle it. When you learn how to solve your agents' problems and teach them how to do the same thing, that's when you scale to multiple 7 figures a year. So imagine the level of problems. So if I told you guys the more problems you have to solve, the more money you're going to make, would everybody drop a 1 in the chat if you would wake up and say, please give me more problems? I wake up and I go to sleep. I'm like, give me them all. Put them on my plate tomorrow. I'll solve them all. But this is what a strong leader does, right? When that problem gets to me, all of this noise is here. My job is I sink it. It's like a freaking bunker bomber. When that problem arrives to me, I sink it so deep into the dirt that nobody even knew was there. That's what a strong leader does, is he solves problems and he doesn't create a big mess everywhere by freaking out with them. Doesn't matter what it is. I'm never going to freak out with anybody or validate what they're freaking out about. My job is to solve that problem, and when it gets to me, I sink it like a bunker bomb, so deep into the earth that you'll never see it again. But as we wrap up this call, the biggest thing I want to leave all of our leaders with is avoid complacency at all costs. The people that I've seen in this business level out at certain phases or really be challenged to get to the next level is they've become complacent. And the thing that what's allowed me to get to the level where I'm at now is what's allowed Zac to get the same level he's at, and I learned this from him, is attached to the results. Most people, they attach to the money. That 50K a month level in this business is like the do or die business, the do or die level. Either you skyrocket to the top, which is like 10% of the people, or you go all the way down to the bottom, which is 90% of the people. And that's because they're attached to the money. It's like, oh, now I'm making 50K a month. Like I'm gonna stop showing up. I'm good. I'm living life. I'm gonna go spend like crazy. Like I earned it. So attached to the results and detached from the money. And even if you're in here and you don't have a team, like this is what it was for me. Like who in here has sold 40K a month but doesn't have a team that's doing 100K a month? You might say to yourself that you're not a leader. Everyone in here is a leader. Whether you're on the phone and you're leading the client through the intro all the way to the close, that's leading somebody. You have to be a leader to be in sales. That's what this is if you're in sales, you have to lead. Whether you're selling on the phone or you're scaling a team, you cannot do it without leading. And that's what this comes down to, guys. But we're moving into the last 90 days of the year. And this is where you should be doubling or tripling down. On my schedule today, it's nothing but one-on-one calls. I've got 12 one-on-one calls with my guys, and I go out of my way to make sure that if they're giving me 100, I'm going to come back with 150. That's how I lead. I show them that I'm here. I care about them. It doesn't matter at what level I'm at. I'm here at the same time every day. I treat this like a corporate America job. It's 9 to 7. It doesn't matter if I made 500K this month or if I made $0. I'm going to show up here with the same schedule. And that's what it comes down to, because these last 90 days, whether you're getting close to hitting Hall of Fame or you're getting close to hitting Hall of Fame agency, the 90 days is what do it. Nobody cares about the team or the guy that started in first place. The only thing that matters when conference and convention time comes around is who walked past that stage to take what. Nobody remembers the guy that started in first. They're going to talk about the guy that ended at first. That's what the people are going to remember. So remember, these last 90 days, especially leaving Ignite, is where you need to double down, triple down. Literally, it's a 90-day sprint. The message is clear. We have a championship mentality in this company, and you need to get ready to push as hard and as fast as you can go to close out this year.
Awesome, Ronnie. Hey, we'll leave it there. That was a great way to end it. Let's start Q4 off with a bang. Appreciate y'all jumping on. See everyone at Ignite. Ronnie, thank you, brother.
Appreciate you guys. See you guys at Ignite.